All right, guys, here we are, day 3. No surprise, we're going to continue some balancing, but we are going to be making our way down into our hips and eventually working into a really fun arm balance that you don't have to be able to do, but we'll just practice getting into it, okay? So grab a block and let's do it. So standing at the back of your mat, bring your feet together. Start all the way back here. And we'll take the arms up overhead. As you exhale, bring your right elbow underneath your left. So we're coming into eagle pose. Hands together, but before we go into our full expression, let's lift the elbows up, drop the chin, and intentionally kind of pull the shoulder blades away from the spine. Breathe into your upper back. Now bring your elbows down. Really bring them down. Use your back muscles to bring the shoulders down and sit down into your chair pose. So remember, knees behind the toes. Let's shift the weight into the left leg. Pick up your right knee and cross it over. So your toes can go down on the mat, they can hover, they can wrap. Hug your inner thighs together. Left hip forward, right hip back. Breathe, find that steady, soft gaze. Now I'm gonna unravel and lift my right leg out in front of me and stand up really tall. Step forward. As you step forward, put your hands on your hips. Step forward with your right foot, bend your left knee, reach back, and try to grab onto your foot from inside, the inside of the foot. You can grab it from the outside, that's fine. So you can also use a strap here to grab your foot, and you can also just bend it and reach for it, but not actually hold on to it. So lift up, pull your navel in, reach your right arm up to the sky. Keep breathing. Now begin to kick. Kick your foot into your hand. Keep lifting your chest up as you go down into standing bow or dancer's pose. Keep kicking, keep breathing, keep reaching. And now slowly kick to come out. I'm going to lift my left knee up in front of me and then step forward on the foot. Bring your right foot to your ankle, to your calf, or to your inner thigh for your tree pose. Push your foot into your leg. Woo! Push your leg back into your foot like you've got that block between your inner thighs, and that should help to stabilize you. It also, for me, it gives me this feeling of lifting up. So remember, lift the pelvis up off of the legs. Stretch your arms up. Remember, you fall out, you come back in. Don't overthink it. Bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers together. Now, bend your elbows and draw your shoulders back, and then if you can keep your shoulders back and straighten your arms, go for it, but don't lock your elbows out. Okay, now keep your hips pointed straight ahead and step your right foot back for a warrior 1 stance. So I'm placing that back foot flat. Turn the foot out at about 45 degrees. Pull your left hip back, right hip forward again. Push to the outer edge of your back foot. It wants to lift up. Lift your chest up to the sky. Exhale for humble warrior. Start diving down. Diving down. Tuck the chin. Reach through the crown of your head towards the floor. Breathe into your chest and into your shoulders. And now just release your hands and place both hands inside of your left foot. Pick up your right foot and scoot it out. So I want you to increase the space widthwise and lengthwise between your feet. You might use a block here to come into lizard pose. Come down onto the forearms. You can rock a little bit here, rock back and forth. That back knee is lifted for now. We'll change that in a minute. Now go ahead and drop the right knee softly. Can come up to the hands. Take your right hand off the mat, off to the floor, and take your left hand and place it on your left inner thigh. Now I'm slowly going to start to push my left thigh away from me. I'm going to lift the inner edge of the foot and kind of lean back a little bit here. Let that right hip drop lower. And then something I like to do to add on here is to bend the right knee, reach back and find the foot. Again, you can use a strap here, or you can also just hold that knee bend. Remember, one of the best ways to stretch a muscle is to engage its opposing muscle. So if I'm just using my hamstring to keep that knee bent, I am, at the same time, I am stretching, I'm lengthening through the quad, the front of the thigh. Now, release the foot gently. And I'm going to take my hips back to my right heel for Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Left foot is flexed and the knee is not locked, it's soft. I'm energetically pulling the heel back towards me. Take a few breaths. Come back to that lunge. Tuck the back toes. Turn to the right and take a little forward fold here, wide-legged forward fold. Just for a couple of breaths. Remember, in forward folds, we want to keep the quads active. It's going to help to protect the hamstring so that we're not overstretching it. Pull the navel in towards the spine. Inhale, come up halfway. And then Skandasana, bend your left knee and go into a side lunge. So if your knee doesn't like to bend very deeply, you can stay up higher here. You can also drop the hips lower. Try to keep that right knee soft. I like adding a little side bend here. I see lots of cool expressions in this pose. Always do what works best for you. Now spin around and face forward. And let's take it back into downward facing dog pose. Walk your hands back to your feet. Halfway lift. And fold. Rise to stand, strong legs. Hands to heart. Take a breath. Bring your feet together. Take the arms overhead. Inhale. Exhale, bring your left elbow underneath your right. Lift your elbows high first. Drop the chin. Breathe into the upper back. Now lift your chest up as you bring the elbows down, shoulders down, sit down. Hips go back. This time left knee crosses over right knee. Eagle, Gardasana. Left hip back, right hip forward. Breathe deeply in and out through the nose. Unravel your arms and your legs. Lift up, stretch up. Step forward, put your hands on your hips. Stepping forward with the left foot. Let's bend the right knee. Reach around and grab onto your foot. If you can, from inside, outside is fine as well. I feel like grabbing from the inside really helps to get that shoulder back a little bit more. Take your left arm up to the sky. And slowly begin kicking your foot down and then back and then up. And begin to bow forward as you hinge at that hip and stretch up through your chest. Really reach up. Breathe. Kick to come out. Lift the knee. Step forward on the right foot. Bring your left foot to your leg somewhere, just not against the knee. Because remember, we want to kind of squeeze the foot and the thigh together. Stand tall, lift the pelvis up. Take the arms up. Bring your hands behind your back and interlace the opposite way. So if you don't remember, it probably just feels different. Let the chest open up. Step back to your warrior one. Left hip forward, right hip back. Lift the chest up. Remember, really push into that back foot, the outer edge of the back foot. Start diving forward. Go slow. With control. Breathe into the chest, tuck the chin. Reach out through the crown of your head, back the neck is long. Energetically hug the heels together. That will help to stabilize you. Release both hands inside of your right foot. Pick up the left heel, scoot it back, 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 back. Lizard pose. Come on down onto the forearms. Might rock back and forth. Bring the back knee down. Come up to the hands. Place your left hand out to the left. Put your right hand on your right thigh. And now begin to twist and lower the hip, the left hip. Bend the left knee, reach back, find the foot. Release the foot. Square the hips forward first. Sit back. Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Keep the right knee soft. Come back to lunge. Lift the left knee. Turn to the left. Wide-legged forward fold. Let the weight shift forward towards the toes. You might even practice lifting the heels. Try to keep that neck relaxed. Let's come up halfway. Skandasana. Bend into your right knee. Take that side lunge. Spin around. Downward facing dog pose. Now, just for fun, we're going to play with a little arm balance. So take your right foot and step it forward, just like we did to set up for lizard, okay? This is called flying lizard pose. So you can bring that left knee down, give yourself some space. Take this step by step, okay? You can start it, you don't have to finish it. So hips go back first. Take your right shoulder, dip it down, and bring that right arm around and place your hand on the outside of your right foot. So I want you to think chaturanga arms. So hug the elbows in, lift your back knee. So this right here is a great place to work, okay? Keeping the neck long, keeping the shoulders stable, hugging the elbows in. Now, if you want to go a little further with this, You can drag that back foot as I bend forward like I'm bringing my head down to the ground. I'm going to lift up my right heel, and eventually I might lift that left leg up. And maybe you just lift it for a second and put it back down, and that's fine. Okay? Nice job. Go back to down dog. Let's try that on the other side. Look forward, step your left foot out. Go ahead and bring that back knee down. Back up your hips first. Try to get that left shoulder behind the leg as best as you can. I'm gonna walk my foot back in now. Plant my hands. Hug the elbows in like chaturanga. Lift the back knee and just start to feel that transfer of weight, okay? So this is really challenging. This would be very challenging to just stay here and hold. Or you could start playing with kind of hopping that back foot in or dragging the toes in, and then lift the left heel, and eventually, maybe, this is my weak side, you can pick up that right leg and go back to downward facing dog and down to the knees and into a child's pose. And relax. Bring the palms together behind the neck and just let the heart melt. Breathe deeply. Come up to a seat. Sit off to one side. Swing the legs around. Scoot yourself down the mat.